Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here, and now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And people have awared me that Kinobody, or Kinobody, or whatever we want to call him, attempted to bench press 315 on his Instagram. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Oh, and a reminder for those of you who are not aware yet, I will make you aware of the fact that I have a Patreon now, so go check it out. Check it out, it's in my About tab. But back to the matter at hand. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean, attempted? Yeah, I mean attempted. Red light, no lift, fellas, on all 5 reps. And let's go back to the point. This is a guy who, again, likes to pop off that he's stronger than other people. Came over, told me he's stronger than me. He can't even pause bench. He can't bench without lifting his butt off the bench. He can't lock it out. And his technique itself, his actual technique is going to hurt him. It is going to hurt him. It is a matter of time. And here's the thing. People are going to say, well, why doesn't he listen? Why doesn't he go read a book? He probably realizes what he's doing is wrong. I've already warned him about it. I warned him enough that he probably, because he comes and watches these videos, he's gone and watched stuff. He knows. But kind of like strap-on destiny, the problem is that if he adjusts what he's doing, he's not strong enough to lift the weight. In other words, if he actually was forced to bench press correctly in a way that's actually safe and with a pause, he doesn't have big enough or strong enough pectorals to get the weight started with 315. He can't bench 315. You guys understand the problem there? His ego and his business is now tied up in this. He probably might have even gone and tried and realized when 280 stuck on his chest that he couldn't bench 300 for 7 or 315 for 5 and went back to the method he's been doing because he hasn't trained the motor patterns for the bar path, and because getting the weight started from a dead stop, a pause on the bench press, requires enormous pectoral engagement. He doesn't have big enough pecs to actually start the weight for his personal leverages. That's the problem. Because, as I always say, a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. Now, that doesn't mean from person to person. It doesn't mean the bigger guy is always the stronger guy. But most of the time they are. When you look at the law of averages, because in every person out there, any muscle that you have on your body, the more you grow it, the stronger it will get. Period. Every single time. Every single time. And in his case, he doesn't really train his chest correctly. He doesn't have the pectoral mass to do what he's trying to do, to lift those weights. So if he were to come down in a safe bar path that he's not used to, have to pause, have to leave his butt on the bench, he's not capable of pressing it. But the thing is, every single rep, if we were to use strength standards, people say, well, he's not a power lifter. Yeah, but he compares himself to power lifters, just like some of these other people do strap on. And if you're going to compare yourself to someone else and claim that you lift the same amount of weight as someone, you better use the same exercise. You have to use the same exercise, because obviously different variations of an exercise you can lift more weight. In other words, lifting your butt off the bench, you can probably lift more weight. Bouncing a bar off your chest, you could probably lift more weight than someone who pauses with it. You can obviously lift more weight doing that. So it's not the same exercise. So you can't make those sort of comparisons. But the thing is, we saw 3 different things that show that he can't lift the weight. Number 1, butt comes off the bench. Number 2, he's bouncing the bar off of his chest. It's touch and go. Number 3, he couldn't lock it out. He failed the lockouts. So again, he doesn't have enough bar speed, even with all that help, to lock it out. Again, he's not strong enough to bench this weight. He can't do it. And we go back to the other things, that he is going to hurt himself. And that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of Kinobody. He will no longer have his large number of enamored male audience when he smashes his face in with the way that he bench presses, because the way that he unracks the bar, before we even get into his bar path, it's like I've said over and over and over, the way that he unracks the bar has disfigured probably 20 men in the history of the world, permanently disfigured them. You can't do that. And when I say he just drops the bar, some people get confused. He unracks and drops immediately out of the J-hooks. You don't do that on the bench press. Your elbows do not unlock while the bar is over your face. Okay? You do not, until the bar is in a safe position above your chest, you do not unrack your elbows. And you don't re-rack until you've locked it out either, for the same reason, because you're going into a weak position above your face. Going into a weak position above your face. If it's not locked out, there's the possibility of dropping it. And trust me, you do not want to drop a 300-pound barbell on your face or in your mouth. The mouth is the worst one. That's usually the most horrific. Yeah, it's happened quite a few times because people don't learn these basic safety things. So he just drops the bar immediately out of the J-hooks. Doesn't let the bar settle. His bar path is incorrect. It's too high on the chest. He doesn't have elbow tuck. So eventually it is a matter of time. Every single time that he benches heavy, he's rolling the dice. That he is either going to drop the bar on his face or his throat or in his mouth, or because of the bar path that he uses in that bouncing, he is going to tear a rotator cuff because of the internal rotation of the shoulders, or he is going to tear a pectoral. All right, and if you roll the dice enough times, they have to come up 7 or 11 sooner or later. And that, again, it'll be interesting because he's one of these guys on YouTube that probably, doesn't need to be giving out training advice, and that's okay. And he's got this whole pretty boy persona that he puts on, his metrosexual thing. But when he ruins his face, or he rips a pec off the bone and has to have it reattached, what's going to happen to his aesthetics? He's done. He's done. And, I've warned him enough times. I don't really care at this point. He's willfully stupid about it. I've told him this already. I've told him in comments before when he came in and commented in my channel. I'm done warning him. I just don't want his audience to get hurt watching this moron. That's what I don't want to see. Because he is going to hurt the people who follow him. He literally has no clue what he is doing at all. He doesn't know how to perform any sort of chest press of any type. Every single one of them, he makes the same mistakes. He ego lifts, tries to lift weights he's not strong enough to lift, doesn't have control of the weight, can't pause it, doesn't know the bar path, doesn't know elbow positions to avoid damaging rotator cuffs, doesn't know how to unrack a weight, doesn't know how to re-rack a weight safely. These are horrifically bad habits. And if his followers imitate them, he is going to eventually hurt hundreds of people. And I'm telling you, as an older guy, go ask your dad. Some of you guys who follow him, your dad is possibly, or one of your uncles is one of those guys who's like, yeah, I used to be really jacked until I tore a rotator cuff. And then I had to quit working out. How do you think they tore a rotator cuff? All of these guys my age who can't lift, and you guys watch me lift relatively heavy weights all the time. And I've already said my goals here in my 40s right now is to get back to a 400 bench, meet legal, 600 squat, 700 deadlift, all raw. And I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it without getting hurt. How many other guys my age who can't lift anymore? It's because of doing stupid stuff like this. I've met dozens of them in my life. They all have the same story. Oh, I got hurt heavy bench pressing. Like, no, you got hurt doing some jerk-off exercise that you thought was the bench press. Bench press is a perfectly safe exercise, relatively speaking, if you know how to actually do it. He doesn't, and he's teaching people bad habits. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.